Well, what makes us strong as a team is our ability to collaborate our strengths. I have had the privilege of presenting cases with John many times, and I know for a fact that John is second to none as it relates to presenting complex auto liability. He's going to have that accident reconstructed, know the weight of the vehicle, skid marks, the feet of the skid marks, and more likely than not, he's going to have the cell phone to the investigating police officer. Having his rich criminal prosecutorial experience is just an added benefit, an added tool in our arsenal when we're presenting these cases.
I was going to comment on that because John, having spent time in the state attorney's office, was involved with so many different police investigators and sheriff's investigators, and went to accident scenes and actually observed what had happened and tried to figure out what the cause of the collision was. And he does that on our personal injury cases, and he gets on the computer and he looks at the scene of the accident and tries to evaluate what possibly caused the collision. In addition to that, he has the ability to communicate with clients in a great way. He's so affable and approachable. The clients always love John and love talking to him.
Well, the easy part of my job is reminding new clients and people who've been injured in a crash that there's not a better law firm in Southwest Florida to handle their issues and handle their injuries and handle the litigation. As a prosecutor, I had heard of Alan Parvey, and I got to know him before I started working for him. And I know for a fact that there is no better trained, no better experienced, and no other lawyer with a track record of success as Alan Parvey. He has definitely earned a great reputation in Southwest Florida for helping his clients, advocating tenaciously, and of course that carries on to Carlos. And Carlos was trained extensively by Alan Parvey before I even joined the firm, and I can see that he's constantly putting pressure on insurance companies. He's constantly making sure that the case is moving forward, because if you're just a number, or if you're just a patient or just a client at a big firm, you might get dropped through the cracks. But Carlos is constantly pushing your case forward to a resolution, because that's ultimately why you hired us.
And I think another great point about Carlos, and I agree with everything he said, is Carlos is a student of the law. He loves legal research and finding out the cases that apply to the facts in our case. And he just enjoys the research aspect of it and keeps up with the new laws that come out and the new cases that are applicable to our particular cases, and imparts his knowledge and information to us in our cases so that we can sit around and discuss our approach to resolving the case.
And I've seen firsthand a defense attorney filing a really long motion. You can tell that they billed the insurance company thousands of dollars to prepare that motion, and Carlos just goes on, prints off a case, emails it to the defense lawyer, and the case is resolved just as quick as that. He knows the law, and the speed at which he will provide that information to the opposing counsel shows them that we're ready to go, and that they better get this case resolved for our client.
And Carlos is constantly emailing us on new cases that come out, and keeping us alerted to new developments in the law on a regular basis.
It's amazing how the law changes so much. And Carlos, how do you do that?
Ellen once said it's a never-ending minefield, and it's true because of the way society continues to evolve. There's now emerging law on jury selection and monitoring the jurors' social media. And if we don't monitor their social media, there could be a mistrial if somebody posts or engages in social media regarding the facts of the trial. Alan didn't have that problem in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Jonathan and I are going to have that problem. We're going to have Alan's, that's going to be a stress that we're going to encompass when we try these cases.
It's amazing how much information is out there, and how everybody's strengths are good at collecting that information and putting it together in a final package for our client, and our client ultimately benefits from it.
Many years ago, when I first started with Alan's strength, obviously his years of experience, is I thought he was a quasi-fortune teller. He knew, he could look at a case and he could tell you what the defense lawyer is going to say, how they were going to say it, and he had an uncanny ability to predict the future. You know, there's a similarity that can be made with like an army general. You know, he can sit back and tell us the strengths and the weaknesses and how the opposing counsel, what they're going to try and exploit. I have learned from other legal mentors that great lawyers know what your opposing counsel is going to say. Don't worry about what you're going to say. Know how your enemy is going to come after you. Alan has an uncanny ability. If he were a defense lawyer, there wouldn't be a plaintiff lawyer that could take him on.
And that even goes back to our this undercurring theme that it's important to talk to a lawyer from the very beginning, from the minute you're released from the hospital, and you need to find legal representation. If you have somebody on your side who knows what the defense is going to argue 2 years down the road when you finally get into litigation after you've recovered from your injuries, then that lawyer can start collecting the evidence that's going to be useful for that trial or useful for that mediation or litigation. And it's an invaluable asset to have somebody with that type of experience on your team.
Well, it's also very refreshing to have lawyers like Jonathan and Carlos who listen to what I have experienced and apply it to their cases. And it gives me a lot of pleasure in seeing that in both of these lawyers.